All right, this is the side view of long duration isometric runner's lunge. So I made some markings here to better illustrate what we're trying to get from this activity, as well as some inefficiencies in my own form. So with this exercise, the goal is to essentially put an athlete in a position of maximal bending with one leg and maximal extension with the other leg. This is a position that if it happens in sprinting or running, it might be at initial contact, but the important thing to note here is that in running, this would never be the position that we actually generate any power from. However, as the stride opens up, it's a position that we would need our bodies to be able to go to in order to have some stride length. So this is different than sort of a less extreme range of motion isometric lunge in that the ranges are intentionally extreme. So just don't get confused. This is not the position that I would want runners to feel like they are very strong out of, generating force out of, but it's a shape I need to be able to get a runner to get into to run at any kind of a decent time. So the green arrows on the bottom, they just illustrate something that I'm not doing very effectively in this activity, and that's that I overall should just be lower to the ground. So the right hip should be in more flexion, the left hip should be in more extension, my hips should be a little bit closer to the ground. I would want the right knee and the hips as a unit to either be in line or for the hips to be slightly below. So this should really be emphasizing like extreme ranges of motion. If I did that, then we'd see the left knee would come down towards the ground as well. The red kind of horizontal line, that just illustrates that this is an exercise where we're going to let the pelvis deviate a little bit from neutral. So it's going to be in a little bit of an anterior pelvic tilt. There's going to be increased lumbar spine lordosis. This is something that we see happen with top end running mechanics. So it's something that we would be wise to replicate in the weight room, in our training, so that we can expose our body to this position. You're not going to get that trailing leg posture with the left leg without some degree of increased lumbar spine lordosis and anterior pelvic tilt. Along with that would go this horizontal green arrow that's emanating from my chest, and that just illustrates something I have to internally cue all the time, which is to, especially with top-end speed running, actively push the xiphoid process, kind of the breastbone, forward in order to maintain a taller running position. This is different than acceleration, where we want that sternum down and we want everything to be like compressed and squatted.